Hey guys, Slaughter Magic here, and we got 2.5 stories coming out of eBay. I'm going to blow through the first one because you guys probably don't care about the technical details and all the little gripes I have about selling on eBay, but as they're actively making it worse to sell cards on eBay with higher fees and more mandatory fields that nobody gives a crap about or would ever search by. I mean, seriously, you put in the card name, that's what people put in, the end. Nobody's building their deck on eBay, okay? They go to Scryfall or they go to like the Gatherer or Card Kingdom. So me stating what rarity it is, no, people know what rarity the damn card is. Like, for real. And honestly, if I were to fill out every single field that they now request for Magic the Gathering cards, it would probably take me 15 minutes per listing to like take the photo, crop it in Photoshop, clean it up, and then list it, add 50 different properties about color, rarity, set, noteworthy name, and like permanent type or spell type. Like they added that as a subcategory. Like who would ever search by that? So they made it more of a pain, but now they must have realized what was going on. And so they now on the eBay app or very shortly will have like a trading card scanner where it just identifies the card with AI, although AI is a little generous. I know how the code works. I know people who have written card identification programs in like a weekend. You just sample like 16 pixels and then measure the color difference. It's like a geometric offset, and then you get known values. And then need I remind you that Wizards has an API, a public database of all of the cards that are standardized. But didn't I just say I wasn't going to get technical? So the eBay mobile app is adding a thing where you can put your camera on the card and they'll be like, oh, it's that card. And then they'll fill in all the crap for you. So you can just basically take a photo. It'll identify it. It'll be like, what price do you want? Boom, list, done. Which is like, no joke, 100 times faster. So that's cool. Just in time for the like 4% additional fees, which is like a 50% up in fees relative to what it was before. I used to pay 7.8% as a top-rated seller with a store subscription. Now I dropped that because I'm a little bit lower volume, and still, I think I just sold a graphics card and I paid like 12.6% in fees. Oh, and now we get to pay fees on other states' sales tax that eBay collects on our behalf, and we never touch or see that money. So we're paying fees for money that isn't even ours, that doesn't even touch our pockets. Amazing. What a great thing to do, eBay. Thanks. Now, recently I saw this. If you're listing something in the trading card category, it'll actually have a valid, allowable, not going to get your account into too much trouble, plain white envelope shipping method, because they know that if people are going to sell commons on eBay, they are not going to send them with tracking first class, okay? From Wisconsin to California, it's like $3.80 now, thanks to the zone-based first class, which it never used to be, which is, by the way, Amazon's fault. So you can thank them for that. They were solely responsible for that change being necessary because they themselves were abusing it. They'd only send stuff first class if it was far away, and if it was closer, they would use their own carriers. And so now first class is zone-based. Thanks, Amazon. Now to send, 0.1 ounces of cards, aka one card, across the country, it cost me like, $3-4. Great. I remember when it was $2.10. You've literally like doubled it. But because not putting in tracking has so many questions, disputes, unexpected delivery times, all that, eBay was just like, no, if you want top-rated seller status and you want like a 10-20% reduction in final value fees, which, yes, you do want that, you have to provide tracking. And people would just be like, fine, I won't be a top-rated seller then. So all the big sellers would just be like, no, we're just not going to do it. We're just not going to comply with eBay's request at all. Oh, well, fine us, charge us more, we don't care. The amount we're going to lose by sending, little 5x7 bubble mailers with a full tracking thing on it instead of just a damn stamp, nah, not worth it. And yes, people can receive it then claim they didn't receive it, which is why I usually put like a $10 cap on it. But eBay is finally recognizing that just in the category of collectible cards, okay, people are going to use plain white envelopes, let that be an option, and don't necessarily penalize the people for choosing that. It's just something that just can't practically have tracking, okay, whatever. Now, if only they would do that for electronic gift card and code deliveries. I got dinged for selling a couple of those. Some old, like, Planeswalker deck codes or something. How would you have a tracking number with that? I literally just send them a picture of the code card. It's a digital delivery product. How and why would I have tracking? Yeah, and I exceeded like 2% on my account. They're like, well, we just took away your top seller status. So yeah, eBay is clueless when it comes to mobile or to trading card sales. But now they're trying to improve because, there's millions, probably billions of dollars going through them with trading cards. They're like, okay, this is a big, big, big thing right now. So the plain white envelope option, it is now there. You can select it as your chosen method for sending it. And then you can also offer tracking if the person really wants tracking and you just put in the money difference yourself, which is actually kind of nice. Oh, and then the buyer just chooses which of the two they want. They pay more if they want to pay more. if that's valuable to them, if they want a delivery date or whatever. So, okay, big improvement there. And then the other huge improvement is the scanning card. So I wanted to outline those two things that they're finally doing, that will actually help people selling there. With all these upgrades, eBay also, I guess, made a statement about something involving like buyer protection, which is obviously the opposite of seller protection. It's really just believing scammers and blaming you no matter how old your account is and no matter how much feedback you have. But in late April, they're adding something like some specialized support team that will know about trading cards, I guess. Like Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Primarily. And then I guess later this year, it'll be like sports cards too. And that'll be like their specialty, where like if you have a dispute about condition, they're going to know what card condition means, basically. Like that'll be their area of expertise, which is actually kind of cool. That would be appreciated because eBay support is complete morons right now. It doesn't matter if you're selling electronics, cards, anything, antiques, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm not actually convinced that any of the eBay reps I've ever worked with a dispute have ever bought a product in their entire life. So this is actually like 2.5 major improvements. Now let's talk about a debatably unimprovement, but this is entirely the Biden administration's doing, 100%. They're looking at ways that they can kind of close tax loopholes and in fact enforce taxes harder, aka go after the little guy instead of, God forbid they actually tax Amazon, which is ironic because they're Democrats. They don't give a shit about large multinational companies. In fact, they hate them. Well, things have flipped in the last 10 years. It used to be the Republicans were on the side of the big, companies. They would always side with businesses and they didn't give a crap about poor people, and then the Democrats were opposite. Well, now the Republicans just sit there and waste space and do nothing, and the Democrats just want more money and power. I don't know if you'd call that flip-flopping. It's really both of them just went downhill, which is why the next election we're probably going to see a 4-party election. But anyway, nobody gives a crap about like accounting laws and tax laws. I was going to go explain it all because I'm really, really good at accounting because, I used to own a business. I also used to be the accounting tutor for my college. But okay, here's the thing. In case I didn't mention it, because I had to do multiple takes of this, unfortunately, eBay would send you a 1099 in the mail if you made above $20,000. So a lot of people were like doing a little on the side hustle, resale, whatever. Or even just, getting rid of stuff that they own personally on eBay. And before you know it, they're at, $1,000 and whatever. They're like, I'm not going to pay taxes on this. I'm not running a business. Well, you are, but okay, they're never going to catch you. It's under $20K. Now, thanks to Biden, he's changing it to $600. Yay. Got to squeeze every last penny out of the little guy because, like I said, there's no way they're going to tax the big people, the big companies. They're the ones who paid them bribes and all that shit to get them in office in the first place. So they can't tax them. They got to tax Joe Schmo trying to make ends meet, shipping out 1 package a week from his garage on eBay. That's who they're going to target with taxes. Which, yes, I think that's absolute bullshit, but here's actual tax law. Okay, let me just lay it all out real quick, and then I'll tell you why these people are whiny, entitled criminals. And why everybody, including Alpha Investments, complaining about the new eBay tax, which is not new at all, is just forcing tax evaders to actually pay taxes. Oh no, boo-hoo. So yeah, now that it's lowered to $600, you do $600 worth of anything, $1,000, $2,000, they're going to send you a 1099 and it'll say, unless you have proof that you have offsetting expenses or cost of goods sold, so what you paid to acquire the stuff you sold, you are paying taxes on this amount. Income tax, that is, by the way. Sales tax is separate. It's a different thing. So you got all these little side hustle people or just, amateur eBay people saying, that's not fair. So that's the complaint. Okay, here's reality. If you, with all non-employed, non-W-2, I'm working for a corporation as a direct employee, if you make under $600 total in a year by doing random jobs, renting your truck, getting $20 for your friend for cutting their lawn, everything that is like independent contractors separate from an employer, non-declared on a W-2 or W-9 or whatever the hell, if all of those in a year are under $600, you do not have to pay taxes on it and you do not have to report it. So there is that leeway, and I do believe that applies to sales tax as well, at least in Wisconsin. Because the exemption is $10 and then you extrapolate it and it ends up, okay, I get it, cool. So you make under $600 on a side hustle, you don't report it. That is the law. You make $601 and you're going to start paying taxes on that $1. And as far as income taxes go, the rest as well, which I always thought that was kind of funny because that's not how the tax code normally works. Now, eBay would not notify the IRS and send them a 1099 alongside, the one they send you until you made $20,000 up until now. Now, why the hell were they so different than everybody else? Almost any other type of company, $600, they're reporting it. You're getting a 1099. eBay, Patreon, PayPal, a couple other real big ones like that, the cutoff was $20K. I never knew what was so special about them or what was the reasoning behind that. So all they're really doing is moving the number down to be in parity with what it should be in the first place. So at the end of the day, basically somebody just, doing a little side hustle, or their wife sells some stuff on Etsy or eBay or whatever. I think everybody's affected by this. Sell a couple cards, sell something you made, sell something you bought, for $5 at a thrift store and sold for $50 on eBay, whatever. Some little, like I said, a little side hustle business. Nothing major. You don't even consider it business. It's just, hey, whatever, If it exceeded $600, you should have been paying taxes on it. Not doing that is tax evasion. The end, period. Simple. I don't care if you're not happy about it and you made $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and just hid it from the IRS in previous years because eBay would not tip them off and send the IRS a 1099 saying, hey, this guy had $5,000 in sales. You might want to scrutinize his tax return a little bit. Make sure that he, reports that he had at least a little bit worth of income here. So all people are required to do now is if you're above $600, you have to do this thing called accounting, aka keeping books, aka writing down things to prove and do math and pay taxes, which I think even in Egypt they did that. I know in ancient Israel, they had like the tax collectors. Not exactly a new concept, okay? If you run a business that you have to keep a ledger of what you paid for the stuff you're selling and then what you sold it for and what the difference is, okay? Nothing new. It's basic addition and subtraction. You don't need a $1,000 copy of QuickBooks. You can do it on a damn spreadsheet. Hell, you can do it in a book with a pencil. Not that big of a burden, people. Plus, you might want to know for your own records. Like if you bought this for $50 and sold it for $40 on eBay, you might want to kind of know that. Maybe a little thing that'll show a big number in red that says, hey, you actually lost money on this. Yeah. Accounting isn't just for the government. It's for like you to run your business correctly, whether you consider it a business or not. Okay. If you made above $600, congratulations. It's a business. That's all there is to it. That always was the law. Like I said, anybody making like $10,000 on eBay and not reporting a damn penny of it because they knew eBay wasn't going to, rat on them to the IRS. Well, they were just evading taxes for years. They were paying zero taxes whatsoever. I don't like tax evaders. I don't care if they're a couple $1,000 mom and pop operation or a multi-billion-dollar company. I don't like anybody illegally breaking the law and not paying taxes because then I, as a taxpayer, have to pay more to make up the difference. So everybody whining about it, what they're literally saying is, I was doing tax evasion for the last 10 years selling on eBay. I wasn't paying a penny. It was illegal, but I pretended it wasn't because, it's just a little bit here and there. But you're damn right it was above $600, but it was below $20,000. And now I have to keep records and pay taxes on all of my profits. Yeah, like every other business, you entitled jackass. So I think I heard like Rudy made a video on this. A couple other people made a video on this. They're calling it the eBay tax. They're saying it's like an attack on Magic the Gathering independent sellers and blah, 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 blah. No, what they're doing is they're flushing out tax evaders. It's just, would I go after Facebook and Amazon and I guess eBay themselves? Yes, because they have more money than some guy making $2,000 out of his basement or garage or whatever the hell with a side hustle. And this is very like not fair. It's very like you're not targeting everybody evenly. If you're going to go after the little guy and a bunch of small time tax evaders because you think the money will add up to $1 trillion, first of all, you're wrong. Secondly, all you did was make them up their prices to offset the taxes they're not paying. And third, I could name names right now of people who do cash jobs for dog grooming. I know a car detailing company. They all just take cash, and if it's credit card, cool, okay, whatever. If it's cash, that doesn't go on the books at all. It goes in my pocket. I spend it at the grocery store, and the IRS doesn't know shit about it. That's how they operate. Even when I had my store and after I've closed my store, every penny that comes in and out of the cash drawer gets accounted for. It's called accounting. It all goes into QuickBooks, okay? And the most I could be accused of is being a little bit generous in my definition of business expenses. I mean, if I say, would I have bought this security camera for my private residence if I didn't do Facebook and Craigslist transactions? Maybe, probably. But on paper, I bought it to catch, somebody assaulting me or chargebacks on credit cards because I have a credit card terminal. I want them on camera with their face showing, making the thing and picking up the item so that I can send that to the credit card company to dispute when they try to rip me off and say, chargeback, I never received it. That's fraudulent. I was never there. So yeah, of course I'm writing the security camera and the DVR off on my taxes. It's a little gray area, but I think I deserve that considering the breaks that millionaires get and how every time I make 50 cents at my parents' rummage sale, I report it in QuickBooks. But yeah, all these like, oh, the IRS is never going to catch me people, making, under 20K, but still like a lot. Like they could even be making $12,000, an extra $1,000 a month. That's like a part-time job. I mean, come on. And they're just like, oh, it's under 20K, so I don't have to pay taxes on it. No, it's under 20K, so the IRS won't necessarily catch you, is what the old law was. And those people, they go to jail if they get audited. They don't just get a fine for tax evasion. Like, that is knowingly running an entire business without reporting a fucking penny of it. Those people get jail time if they get audited for a different reason and then they catch that, like 10K worth of eBay sales in a year, and they're like, why didn't you report this? Oh, because it's under 20K and I didn't have to report it. No, you did. It's over 600. You did have to report it. So all they're doing by lowering it from 20K to $600, once again, is catching tax evasion. And I'm glad those people are going to be right along with me paying taxes and shit. If they're too lazy and stupid to keep a spreadsheet of, I bought these sneakers for $10 at, Goodwill and sold them for $80 on eBay, I can write the 10 off as an expense. If they're too lazy and stupid to do that, and they get a 1099 from eBay at the end of the year saying, hey, you owe taxes on every penny of this $3,000, and they're like, oh, but inventory, but I didn't keep track of what I paid for it. Well, then you don't know how to run a fucking business, you clueless asshole. Shut the fuck up and overpay on your taxes then, and maybe do better next year. Put in the tiniest little bit of extra, 15 seconds to type blah, 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 Nike shoes, $10, date, enter into a spreadsheet. Everybody wants the quick, easy money, but everybody's too lazy to do the basic little extra bit called running a fucking business. So, oh no, boo-hoo, world's smallest violin to all the people whining about the new eBay tax on us poor little single sellers in the magic world. Oh, it's so unfair that now I have to report my income correctly and do 15 seconds of extra work every time I make one full transaction. Oh no. Like I said, should that be who the government's targeting? No, they should target the largest companies and then go on down. We should be the lowest priority. But with me sitting there paying all my taxes because I don't want to get absolutely f***ed if I get audited, I don't want to play that game. I don't want to gamble on that shit. And I pay my taxes the way I should. And then there's all these just fly-by-night who gives a shit, operating out of their own basement, eBay little mid-sellers. And they aren't paying a penny. They're pocketing every single last bit. That is bullshit. I hate those people, and I'm glad they're finally getting cracked down on. Now, would I trade them continuing to not pay a penny and not contribute to society in any way and break tax law, and then occasionally 1% of them get caught in an audit and go to jail for the severity of 1,000 transactions that they're all not reporting at all? Would I trade, them continuing to do that for 1 extra percent on Facebook? Or Amazon? Yeah, I would. Apple, are you kidding me? Make it 0.5%. I wouldn't even give a shit. You know how much money they make? Yeah, let the little assholes running their little home businesses secretly keep hiding their income and go after the people who deserve it, which is the megacorps, okay? Let's get the priorities straight, but if this is the route they want to go, good. F those people. If you're too lazy to keep books and keep ledgers of transactions, then you're too lazy to run a business and you should not be able to. It's the law. Comply with the law or go to a different country. It's really simple. So every time you hear somebody whining about the new eBay tax, this is going to kill my business, just keep in mind that they were violating federal and state tax law up until this point. And that's what they're complaining about, is that they can't keep breaking the law and paying an income tax rate of 0. Now, here's the ironic thing. Unless you make over, I think it's like $28,000 in a year, which I didn't last year, by the way, your federal tax is 0. You're paying 0 anyway. The only thing you're going to get hit with is social and Medicare, which is like 18%, 14%, 16%, something like that. I'm in the tax bracket called it's not even a tax bracket, the tax bracket of 0. I didn't even make enough for the federal government to come in and say, hey, all your eBay stuff, YouTube stuff, Patreon, Teespring sales with t-shirts, all that shit, add that all up. It's not even 30 grand, which, like I said, no joke, last year it was not. 2020 was a shit year. Why do you think I'm looking for an IT job? We're just not even going to tax you anything. You have to report it. You have to tell us what it is for GDP purposes and so we can verify that you don't owe us anything, but, you don't owe us anything. So if you got some guy who makes like $80,000 a year at his job and then he sells $2,000 worth of magic cards on eBay and he's whining about, oh, I have to pay taxes on it now. Yeah, that's because you're in such a high tax bracket and you didn't make $80,000, you made $82,000. That's called income. And you're in this bracket. So pay your fucking taxes. If you're some rando person just trying to do, thrift store and whatever picking and resale on eBay, and you're like, oh, I'm getting taxed to death, you're probably not. You're probably not getting taxed at all. You're probably in such a low tax bracket that yes, you have to report it. Yes, you're going to get a 1099 that has a not so nice number on it. But if you are truly poor, you don't end up owing anything in taxes. And if you are complaining about it because it is actually being taxed heavily, then you're so rich and you make so much money, fuck you, you deserve to get taxed. There is no point at which people would complain about this and be justified. So do me a favor, anybody complaining about this and saying this is unfair, it is literally the textbook definition of the opposite of the word unfair. They are actually catching up on fairness and making sure there's a level playing field and everybody pays their proper share, okay? Oh, and by the way, maybe take a basic business class, maybe, watch a couple YouTube videos and get educated for a couple hours, and then do what I do and write off 1/3 the portion of my entire square footage of my house, all of my property taxes, all of my mortgage payments, all my mortgage interest, and any home improvements off as a business expense at the rate of 33%-ish, because 33% of the square footage of my house is covered in shipping materials, magic cards, Bitcoin miners, and basically a third of my house is used for business. And I'm counting editing room, my PC, storage in my basement for my new company that I just started. If anything, it went up higher. Well, if I'm using my home for business, even just storage, even just inventory storage, I can write that off. I just have to do a quick calculation, track those things, throw them into a spreadsheet at the end of the year, and ta-da, they're a giant offset. You know what my new business made in 2020? -$6,000. Why do you think I started the business and made a web page and then stopped giving a shit after I had 3 customers? So I could write off all the expenses. Remember, there ain't no law about your business being profitable. It just has to be a business. It just has to have transactions, provably. But yeah, every time you go to Office Depot and spend $4 on tape, you can write those $4 off because you're using them to tape up stuff to send through the mail on eBay. If you're too lazy and too stupid and don't know how business and accounting works to know that you could write that $4 off to offset $4 in profits that you make, then you shouldn't be running a business. So like I said, the other side of things where people are like, oh, but this is such a burden to write all this down. Well, yeah, it is. Anybody who runs any kind of business anywhere of any type has to put in all of these transactions, every receipt, everything. So welcome to what the rest of us were doing. Boo-hoo. If it's too hard, stop doing it. Just go work for someone else. Just stop selling on eBay completely. If you can't take 3 seconds to write off some expenses, some office supplies, some boxes you bought, some tape, some bubble mailers, top loaders, the cost of the cards in the first place. If you don't want to take 3 seconds to record all that, then you don't get to run a business, or you could just pay triple in taxes needlessly. Take your pick, because lazy people don't do well at business. I don't know if you knew that or not. So 0 sympathy for anybody complaining about this new eBay tax and how it's targeting Magic the Gathering sellers and it's unfair and blah, blah, blah. It's all horseshit. It's all entitled, lazy assholes and tax evaders complaining that they can't keep having a free ride on their $10,000 worth of sales, paying 0 off of it, ripping off the U.S. government and their local state, pushing the burden onto the restaurant down the street who has to have all their books all open and auditable, and now they got to pay double because you're too lazy to pay your share. F*** you. If from now until eternity, if I catch anybody complaining about, the new eBay $600 instead of $20,000 1099K limit is so unfair, I am permanently muting you from the channel because you are a miserable piece of human garbage. So that's not just my take, that's like reality about this whole eBay story. Don't believe the other side of it, because everybody else I've heard covering this, they just talk about, it's unfair, it's unfair. They don't understand it. They don't get how taxes work because they haven't ran a real business. Or they have and it just pays 0 taxes. Either way. So yeah, that's the big eBay stuff going on. I look forward to saving a lot of my time selling stuff on eBay, but honestly, it's with the rates of postage and how impossible it is to sell commons and make money, mixed with the raise in eBay fees, the number of scammers and shit, it is literally, I kid you not, in most cases, more lucrative to just take 1,000 cards and send them in on a buy list to Card Kingdom. It just is. It is so much less of a headache. You don't have to buy envelopes. You don't have to run to the post office 50 times in a year, which actually I think my record was 112, which is like 1/3 of all the days in a year that exist. And by the way, my 1099 from eBay that year was 110 grand. So I had to explain to the IRS how I didn't actually make 110 grand. So yeah, I ain't thrilled about it either, but guess what? I had records of it all. Getting a 1099K that says 110 grand on it, and then at the end of the year going, actually, I only made 6,000 profit because Magic the Gathering cards are a shit product to sell. That's like painting a big target on your shirt that says, come audit me, I'm lying about my expenses, because that's kind of hard for them to believe, but luckily I didn't get audited. One of my friends did though, so I'm sure I was right there on the top of the list, and audits are not fun. But you know, that's a great reason to keep your books correct. So that if you do get audited, it'll be the shortest, quickest, easiest audit ever. You telling me sell Magic the Gathering cards, they won't even show up. They'll just be like, oh yeah, there's no money in that. Okay, case closed. And by the way, for every person I know that was running a little side hustle on eBay, not paying any taxes on it, and then got audited and got in deep shit, I know 10 times as many people who were dicking around with Bitcoins and shit and didn't take any of those profits or keep track of any of that, and then the IRS found out because of some BSA changes and a really big court subpoena to like CoinDesk and a couple others, or Coinbase. My God, how do I know the name of the company? Oh, the IRS had a field day with cryptocurrency buyers and sellers. I know people who made like 10 grand a year and they're like, oh, do I have to pay taxes on this? Because they're like 19, and then they get the letter in the mail that they're being audited and they're like, oh, yeah, you hide like $10, $20, $30,000 worth of investments that you made with Bitcoins. You're going to jail. You're not just getting a fine, you're going to jail. I made up my own tidy little form, every purchase, every sell, what the fees were, what the things were, you know, the net profits, what my balances were at the end of the year. It's one spreadsheet. I didn't even buy the copy of Excel. I'm using LibreOffice, which is a free alternative. And it actually took me about 90 seconds to put together that spreadsheet. I hand it off to my tax guy with a big green number on the bottom that says, after all these transactions, here's my ledger, here's my log, here's my proof. This is how much I made in 2020 on Bitcoin transactions. Put this on my tax return. 90 seconds in a spreadsheet in some free software. And now I'm not going to federal prison. Like, how fucking lazy and entitled are these people that they think they could just, oh, well, it doesn't apply to me. I shouldn't get taxed. I hate the government. I need the money. Okay, cool. Then go tell your congressman to change the laws. In the meantime, comply with the laws, because if you break laws, then you go to jail and you get giant fines. So this is the no sympathy zone. So fuck you. And fuck Rudy for allegedly complaining about this when he damn well should know better. I couldn't actually find the video, but somebody said he was complaining about this. Well, what else is new? He has a hot take that doesn't make any sense and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Oh, gee, I've never heard that from him before. That's totally new. I hope he gets audited. That would be fun. How much shit do you think he's hiding from the government? Hopefully we'll find out in a future news video. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.